Ugh. Hey guys, and Merry Christmas. Cheers. Hope you've had a decent day. And tonight's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a normal live stream where I go at it 400 million miles an hour. I'll do that tomorrow as normal. This is just a more kind of relaxed and chilled out thing. Just in case there's anybody out there who's on their own and needs a bit of company. Specifically, I'm thinking about the people in my singles network, and I've told them all about this and given them plenty of warning, and I put the link in the community group about half an hour ago. Not sure if anybody will turn up or not, but there you go. I'm here just in case, and of course it's lovely to see my regular YouTube crew and catch up with you guys, and wish you all a very, very happy Christmas indeed. I'm knackered. I'm absolutely bloody knackered. Oh dear me, it's oh god, hard work Christmas. Look at that, Vimto. Dear me. Oh, let's see who we've got with us. Quite a few. Oh, MCH underscore 419 is with us. Good evening and Merry Christmas to you. Hello. Here's a bit of a longer message. SDF Classic BMX Steve Fitzmaurice says, oh, that's very kind. Many thanks for all your great content this year. It's helped me out during really rough times and cheered me up. Thank you, Steve. That means the world. It's kind of done the same thing for me too, although I've had a hell of a lot of fun. But yeah, I love the idea that it's back to the old community thing, isn't it? I've got more moist as I've got older. I think I've talked about this before. You get to a certain age, or maybe it's not the age, maybe it's just that you've been through the slings and arrows of life, and you start understanding a bit more, and you start giving a shit about other people, which to a selfish sod like me came as quite a shock, but there we are. So I'm really glad it's helped you out, and that's back to the point of tonight, isn't it? I just hated the idea of anybody who didn't want to be being on their own without any sort of company. And I know that looking at a fat bloke in a silly hat isn't the same as, real company, but it's kind of the next best thing, isn't it? It is for me anyway. I don't feel as if I'm on my own. And I haven't been all day. For those who don't know, I've been at the restaurant today, and we open for a Christmas service, serving a 7-course meal, and it's good fun, great atmosphere. It's nice. It's nice to see people enjoying themselves, and so I haven't been alone all day, and I've got no problem with coming back here to Windy Bum and being on my own this evening. And in fact, if it wasn't for you guys, I'd probably have a bath, neck a bottle of wine, and hit the sack early. And if you believe that, you believe anything. When do I ever hit the sack early? Ali Mac Mechanical is with us and says Merry Christmas to Boaty and friends, and a very Merry Christmas to you too, Ali Mac. Project Ronnie is with us. Oh, hello. Hi, Jake. How are you? Project Ronnie is with us and says good evening. Oh, hello. Mr. B&B has graced us with his presence. And yeah, I am still going to keep calling you. He's a lovely guy, and his name is Rob, but I'm going to still call him Mr. Bed and Breakfast, or Bed and Bangers, or Mr. B&B. because I'm an arse and it amuses me, and because I'm jealous of his fabulous cars. I'm even jealous of the bloody Micra. Got me thinking that I quite fancy another one now. Um, MCH underscore 419 reassures us that he's not alone. He's got a cat. You're never alone with a cat. Oh, Tracy Pattison has popped in to say hello. And Tracy is one of my singles crew. Hi, Tracy. So, yeah, lovely. At least one of them's popped in. Pingu Concord is with us and says, Merry Christmas from your almost secret Santa. Yeah, no secret at all. I mean, I'll put your YouTube comment up on the title of the vid. Pingu Concord, who I strongly suspect must be connected in some way to the person who commented after Mr. Ben 747. You don't need to be much of a detective to figure out that both of those names are a combination of a children's character and an aircraft. But anyway, Pingu Concord is the gentleman, I think. You are a gentleman, aren't you? I mean, certainly your Facebook profile is identified. God, oh, it's a slippery slope these days, isn't it, my loves? Oh God, I'm sure it's a chap, and he is the lovely, kind chap that arranged the caravan for Mustard and myself, which is an incredibly kind and generous thing to do, and we're super grateful. And my God, did you choose a good one? It's either you're a genius or it was just an inspired guess or act of God or something, because you've not seen it on my channel because I had to bugger off to work the day that we actually collected it, which was Wednesday. But you may well have seen it on Mustard's channel, and it is the cutest little retro thing. Absolutely fabulous. And we're going to make it even more fabulous. And we're going to have some adventures in it. And Pingu came up with the excellent idea of counting it as a donation towards the £5,000 that I need to raise to get the within 12 calendar months that I need to raise to get the registration number for my singles charity. So that's a great idea. And I will make sure that the caravan benefits the charity in some way, shape or form, many ways, shapes or forms. I've got some ideas, and we've got a few months to think about it. And I mean, at the very least, if we go around and do the car shows and whatnot and have a charity bucket, so if anybody enjoys the vision of two hairy-ass, slightly mad, middle-aged guys buggering about in a very noticeable two-berth caravan, and it raises some money that I can throw in the charity's direction, that will all be fabulous. Because there's there's always somebody there that could do with a little helping hand. So Mr. Ben 747 is with us and wishes everybody a happy Christmas. Ashley Stewart is with us and says Merry Christmas, Boaty and all. And we wish you a Merry Christmas too. I'm so tired. I haven't got my normal energy. It's all been sucked in. Do you know what else it is? If I'm completely honest, I'm not a very good daytime drinker. In fact, almost never do it. And there was a rather good bottle of champagne going spare at the kitchen guys. They got wedded into some Christmas gifts. There was, they certainly finished off a bottle of single malt, and then they started in on a bottle of JD. But I don't do that stuff. But there was a bottle of shampoo going spare, and I did have a glass or four. And I don't know about you guys, but if I have a drink at lunchtime, it knocks me out for the day. I'll have to try and revive myself in a little while with a glass of wine. I'm sure that'll do the trick. Um, Ali Mac Mechanical has drunk half a bottle of red wine, which is quite restrained of him, but presumably, the night is still young. He'll be setting to work on the other half as we speak. Tracy's asking me, are you working tomorrow too? No, I'm not. I don't think so anyway. Monday we are normally closed, but obviously tomorrow is Boxing Day, and we had a regular who wanted to bring a party of 18, and because they're a regular, we said yeah, okay. But we haven't had any other bookings, so the plan is to just skeleton staff will go in, just three of them, and they'll do the booking, then they'll bugger off back home. So I'm not actually needed, so I can do something else tomorrow, and I don't know what. Whenever I've got a potentially free Monday, I always think, well, I should make the most of it. And I always have an urge to head off to North Wales, head off to Barmouth or Llandudno or somewhere. And I think, yeah, I should do that. Take one of the cars, have a lovely road trip, take the stove and some Momo and make lunch on top of the Great Orme or something. And I think, yeah, I'll do that. And then I kind of have a bit of a sleep in the morning and just end up slobbing about until lunchtime. And I suppose places are going to be a bit mad tomorrow, aren't they, what with it being Boxing Day. So I think I might just chill out at Windy Bum tomorrow and avoid all the madness. Have a little play about with some cars. And then maybe hit the casino tomorrow evening and see if I can turn my Christmas bonus into a slightly larger one, or make it last for more than an hour before it disappears. Our friend from across the herring pond is with us, Stephen S. Paul. Good evening and happy holidays to you, sir. DK is with us, mate. God, there's loads of you. Bloody hell, I better speed up. I'm on 33 RPM tonight, and it looks like a 45 RPM crowd. DK says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you. Gilbert Theophilus Codwacker is with us and says, salutations, sir, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, sir. Oh, Mike's here. Classic Wheels Wales. I always struggle to say that. Classic Wheels Wales. That's Mike, and a very Merry Christmas to you, Mike. Hope you're doing okay. No, oh God almighty. Christmas night, Opwap the Virgin Mary. Really? Mr. B&B says I'm too kind. Not many people would agree with you there. Oh, Arthritis is with us. Charming. Season's greetings, you big lanky fud. Gilberti, Codwacker and Project MGTF were having withdrawal symptoms after cancelling on Thursday. Yeah, sorry about that. Thursday night, the restaurant was rammed. And I didn't get home until about 11:30, and I was pretty shattered. So I shouldn't have set it up, really. I should have known that it was likely to be busy, but hey ho, sorry about that. Normal service will resume tomorrow. And our first message health review, because it will contain filth. Let's have a look at the nature of the filth, shall we? It's from Stephen S. Paul. And he says, I hope everyone's balls are well hung from the tree of plenty. Bit harsh hiding that comment, YouTube, but there we are. Gilbert is dying for a K11. That's a micro, in case you didn't know. Oh God, another OPWAP. Carol Vorderman. Well, we had this discussion on Facebook because there was Radio Wales, who I follow because I used to work with them and they're chums. They put up a thing because they've claimed Carol Vorderman. She was born over the bridge in England, but she was raised in Prestatyn, which is kind of Wales. I mean, it's North Wales, so it's not proper Wales, but it's kind of Wales. And she's kind of Welsh, and she does have a slot on BBC Wales now. And I put her up as an OPWAP alert, and I think Simon bucked the trend and said that maybe he would back in the day, but not now. I mean, I'll level with you guys. I think I would. Might take a bottle of wine, but yeah, I think I probably might. Oh, and on the subject of OPWAPs, we've also got Dame Maureen Lipman, who I think we've had before. Oh my God. Right, crack on through the... So, what were we saying? Oh, yeah. Carol, Carol Vorderman. I had an idea. I've been thinking about, I've opened, I've pressed the buttons and I think I've opened a merch store. But I was doing it last night with a glass of wine inside me. And it all looked a bit complicated. But I'm going to crack on with it. And I've been thinking of slogans for mugs and t-shirts. And I thought, well, we can't let the OPWAP pass us by, can we? So what did I come up with? I thought for the hot senior in your life, or possibly my first hiccup of the day, or possibly for you if you're a hot senior, I thought proud to be an OPWAP. And then I had another thought for another one, which just said, I podger pensioners. And I like the idea of that. I would love... I would love to see somebody walking around in a t-shirt that says, I podger pensioners. Hello. Knocked that over. Right, GUU is with us and says Merry Christmas to everyone, as does KKC. And Alan Searle is here and says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. And thank you for being my very first channel member. A few others have joined you since, but you were the first, so that's jolly nice of you. Oh, we've got another one for health review. Let's have a look. Well, this is controversial. MCH _ 419 says, Carol Vorderman would count as an inflatable sex toy, but not an OPWAP anymore. Well, opinions on that. We appear to have launched a Christmas night feature. I wasn't planning to do any features. To be honest, I just thought I'd set the live stream up. Nobody would be here. And I'd bugger off and drink wine and smoke cigarettes. I didn't actually think I'd be talking to people, but this is rather lovely. So, what was the feature? I've forgotten now. Carol Vorderman, would you? That's tonight's first feature. Carol Vorderman, would you? Let us know. Those Buccaneer caravans, of which ours is one, it's a Buccaneer, or a fucking ear, was the suggested name for by somebody who suggested that it could be a podgering palace, which is a little concerning given that so far, the only indication of the only people that are going to be in there are me and Mustard. And I distinctly do not want any kind of pottering situation to arise with the hairy Paddington. Thank you very much. Although, if I could sneak the caravan out for a Monday night and meet up with somebody fragrant and lovely, that would be a completely different kettle of halibut. Um, don't come a knocking when the caravan. Yeah, don't come a knocking when this band's a rocking. That's something. Yeah, and another slogan I thought of was "Don't laugh, your daughter could be in here." Um, Mr. B&B has been driving. What you been up to, Mr. B&B? Have you been driving for pleasure, for familial duty, or for some sort of paid employment? And what have you been driving? We need to know. We need to know the details. Oh, and yeah, I always ask you what you've had for dinner, but this will be a special Christmas feature. I want to know what you had for your Christmas lunch or dinner, whenever you eat your main Christmas meal. And I'll tell you exactly what I had. I had dal. I had dal with rice and a little chicken, because that's what we made today. So that was my Christmas lunch, and a jolly good lunch it was too. And my Christmas supper will be, what have I got? Well, oh Christ, oh, I've got curry from last night, and went a bit mad last night. There was another curry made with the, we've got a customer at the restaurant, and I think he lives alone. He's a lovely guy, ever such a nice guy. And he's given over his entire house to growing chilies. Literally, he's invited me into his house, and there are just chilies growing everywhere. And he particularly enjoys growing the hot ones. And he now grows the hottest chilies in the world, which are Carolina Reaper Naga chilies. And when they're in season, he gives us a supply of them. And I don't think you're even supposed to handle the bloody things, but us being us, we chop them up and we put them in the staff curry. And I think went a bit overboard last night, because my curry last night, dear God, oh, was it hot. And I've got another portion for tonight. So it's going to be a sweaty, spicy Christmas night for me. And probably a good job that I almost certainly won't end up driving to North Wales tomorrow morning. Because, I was going to say, because the car isn't fitted with a porta potty. But that problem might have a solution, because of course the caravan is fully equipped with a portable bog. It travels with you. So yeah, that could prove useful for particular post-curry situations. That could be quite good fun, actually, wouldn't it? Especially if I went away with Mustard. And Mustard could drive the car, and I could just enjoy a restful journey sitting on the bog with a good book. Let's have a look. There's a bit of a discussion on the old Glenmorangie and various whiskies. Another hidden comment, this one from Mike in Wales. Why was that hidden? I don't know what you two were thinking about there. Hit the like button, humans. What's wrong with that? Why do you need to hide that? Oh, hello. Mr. B&B has got lawn sausage with his breakfast tomorrow. That's a proper B&B breakfast, isn't it? I like the idea that Mr. B&B has a proper old school B&B breakfast with a toast rack. I do like a toast rack. And they seem to have gone out of fashion. Whenever I mention it, everybody looks at me as if I've kind of gone away. I like a toast rack. I like to deploy a toast rack on my breakfast table, and I like to utilize it. And I think, and this may be controversial, but I think toast tastes better coming from a toast rack. When you've got really good butter and the toast isn't like piping hot, it's lingered, it's kind of rested in a toast rack for a while, and then you slather it with really good butter. I think that's absolutely fabulous, and it must be cut diagonally so that you get two triangles, and then you take the triangle, you put it on your plate, and then you take your butter knife and you cut the triangle in half again so that you have two smaller triangles, and you slather the buggers with butter, and that is a fabulous bread. So there's another couple of Christmas features. Do you have a toast rack, and do you use it? And secondary feature, does toast taste better coming from a toast rack? I say it does, and I'm right. Grab a coffee, Boaty. I did think about a coffee. But I've kind of got this thing now where, because I won't drink instant coffee and I won't drink crap coffee. I like proper, well-made, proper black coffee. And for ages now, I've limited myself to 2 in the morning, and that's it. No more coffee. So it's Vimto for me until about 11 o'clock, when I'll open a bottle of wine. Oh, Penguin Concord says, how's your toothache situation? Better, thank you. I'm going through kind of I think I mentioned this in a video. It was some chums of mine were talking about it on Facebook. Somebody's having a bit of a dental situation, and spending an absolute fortune on dentistry and cleaning and all sorts, because they've got some wobbly teeths. And another one of my friends, who's a tad older, said, you know, you can look after your teeth as well as you like, but when you get to a certain age, whatever that age happens to be, your teeth will fall out, your gums will recede, because humans are living longer than they were designed to live, and things wear out. I think when humans evolved, they probably evolved to die in their early 40s or somewhere around there. And for those of you who are my age or older, you think back in your early 40s, you were probably still fully operative, fully working. I know I was. And I think that's the point that you're supposed to pop off. But of course, we live longer these days. And it means that things happen and things wear out. And apparently one of the things that happen is that your gums recede, and if you live long enough, your teeth will fall out, and that's that. And you either get implants if you're wealthy, or you have dentures if you're not wealthy and national health, or if you can't get a dentist at all because nobody's taking on national health patients, well, I don't know what you do. Eat soup, I suppose, or develop razor sharp gums. But yeah, my toothache situation, it's I still have a situation. It's not acute, but what I've basically got is a tooth that's in the slow process of falling out, and I wish it would bloody hurry up, because the falling out process is painful and a bloody nuisance. So I wish the sodding thing would just fall out. And I think I'm a bit young, well, I'm not a bit young, I'm very old, but I think I'm a bit young for my teeth to be falling out. But there are 3 additional things that have buggered my teeth up. 4 actually. One is that as a kid, my teeth grew all wrong, and I needed 2 extractions or possibly 4 extractions, and a brace to be fitted in order to sort them out. Now, the second thing is that I have a medical condition called malignant hyperpyrexia, which isn't such a big deal now as it used to be, but it used to be kind of a big deal, and it was something that wasn't really known about. It's basically a potentially fatal reaction to certain medications, including anesthetics. And it's always been said that there's a certain risk associated with anesthesia. And sometimes things can go wrong, and nobody never really ever knew why. My brother, Mark, with a C, not with a K, he was 13 when he had a tonsillectomy. It was kind of a thing when I was a kid. You got tonsillitis and you had your tonsils out. I believe they don't do it now, but back in the day, it was quite a routine thing for kids to have. You have your tonsils out, and then you're allowed to eat as much ice cream as you want. And my brother Mark went in for a routine tonsillectomy, had a reaction to the anaesthetic, clung on for 3 or 4 days, and then very sadly died. The reaction takes the form of elevated temperature, which continues to elevate until you have heart failure. And that's exactly what happened to Mark. And my mother, who is a very senior nurse, we went through the normal thing where you get letters and so forth from the hospital saying, we're dreadfully sorry, and basically it's just one of those things. It happens, and we kind of don't know why. And some while later, my mother was speaking at a conference, and was a little. She was speaking at a conference, and my father, I think the car broke down, and he wasn't there to pick her up, and there was going to be a delay. So, no, I tell a lie. I've told that wrong. No, I've told that wrong. It wasn't my mother at all, was it? It was the surgeon. It was the surgeon who was at a conference. Surgeon? Not a surgeon. Some doctor, somebody who'd been involved with. I think it was the surgeon. I think it was the guy that did the op on Mark. And he was at a conference, and one of the speakers was a guy called Professor Richard Ellis. And he worked with a Swiss laboratory, and he was at the forefront of investigating this new condition, MH, which they thought might be the reason behind these occasional but very serious reactions to anesthetics. And so the surgeon waited until the talk was finished and went and had a chat with him and sort of said, look, I've just lost a patient, and it sounds like this could be the thing. So what then happened was Professor Ellis had realized at this point that it was a hereditary thing, that it was, it turns out that it is passed down in the genes, but there's a 50-50 chance that it will be passed down. So all of this happened. And then at the age of 4, I was carted off to be the guinea pig for a muscle biopsy to test me for this condition. Now, obviously, Mark, my brother, was, long gone by this point. And because of another situation that I'll tell you about one day, Mark was my half-brother, different father, same mother, obviously. And because Mark had been born out of wedlock, there was did I tell this story? I can't remember if I told this story in one of my potted histories, but there was all a bit of a kerfuffle, and Mum lost him twice. Once he went into care, where Mum changed jobs and took a job as matron at a very expensive girls' school, because they promised that that she could have accommodation with the job with her child. But when they discovered that she was half caste, they rescinded that offer. And at that point, Mum had no accommodation. So Mark went temporarily into care, and then he went into the care of the family. But unfortunately, it was my mother's family, and this was the family that gave my mother to the family paedophile, my great uncle. And of course, they gave him Mark as well, didn't they? So yeah, the poor sod didn't have much bloody luck in his life. Where was I going with this? I can't remember why I started speaking about this. Anyway, oh yeah, I remember. And because of that, and because of all of that, when he died, he was born out of wedlock, and according to the stupid rules of the stupid backward village where the family lived, he had to be buried in an unmarked grave. And because the family nominally had custody of him, they didn't tell my mother or me or my dad. They didn't tell them about the funeral, and they never told my mother where her son was buried. So my mother died not knowing where her son was buried. We narrowed it down. I spent years trying everything. I tried literally everything. I tried research, I tried bribing members of the clergy, and I tried bribing and threatening members of the family, and I do mean threatening, because it broke my mother's heart that she had an area where she knew that he was one of the graves, but she never knew which one. And to this day, I don't know which one. So anyway, that was that. So at the age of 4, I was 4 when Mark died, I was carted off to be the guinea pig for this muscle biopsy, which looking back must have been terrifying for my mother, because she's lost one son, and this is a cheerful bloody Christmas story, isn't it? I shouldn't be talking about this. I'm really sorry. I'll finish this story off very quickly. I can't even... Oh, teeth. I was talking about teeth, wasn't I? Bloody hell, I do ramble on, don't I? So, yeah, it must have been terrifying for Mum. She's lost a kid because of an anaesthetic. And then they want to test her other kid to see if he's got the same thing. And how are they going to do it? They're going to give him an anaesthetic. But I was carted off to this specialist place in order to have this operation with under the specific care of Professor Ellis. I mean, it must have been awfully risky. And I was on full bloody intravenous ice cooling, and I mean, I don't remember anything about it. All I remember of the whole thing is getting the prick of the pre-anaesthetic, seeing the lights, and then I remember being in a wheelchair for, oh God, it seemed like about a year, because they removed a massive chunk of my left leg. If you ever see anybody who has an MH biopsy now, then you can see keyhole surgery, a little pencil scar on the inside of the left thigh. If you ever see me naked, and I sincerely hope you don't, or even just wearing shorts, my left thigh looks as if I've been in a really serious road accident. There's no way it looks like an operation scar. They tore my leg to pieces. Must have taken a huge chunk out of it. because the scar is horrendous. Um, and it certainly left me in a wheelchair for a long time. And the scar it's not neat. It goes thick, thin, and it snakes all up my leg like that. Horrific. And it was, after the surgery, it was stapled together with those massive metal clips. And I survived the surgery, obviously, because I'm here to tell the tale. So, cut a long story short, Mark was the first officially recorded MH death, and I was the guinea pig for the muscle biopsy. And it turned out that I was highly positive, and that's had quite an effect on my life. Probably not so much now, but it doesn't matter now. I'm old. But when I was young, the understanding was that they would only ever carry out an operation on me, or any procedure requiring an anaesthetic, if it was literally life or death, if it was life-threatening. Otherwise, it was just too big a risk. I think back in the day, it was an 85% probability that if I had an anaesthetic, it was an 85% probability that I'd suffer brain damage, and something like a 50% probability that it would prove fatal. So anyway, I remember when I had the clips out, they'd left them in too long because the wound was horrendous. And it looked like a wound, not a bloody surgery. And of course, my skin had grown around the clips, and they wouldn't give me an anaesthetic to remove the clips, which are deeply embedded in my flesh. And they had a team of them holding me down. And I'm screaming with agony as they're pulling these things out, and there's blood everywhere. And my father, it was the first and, oh, sorry, I've just been pinged. And it was the first and only time that I saw my father utterly lost. He just didn't know how to, how would you cope with that? How would you cope with seeing your 4-year-old kid being held down by a team of people who are inflicting all of this damage on him? But anyway, to get to the point of where I was bloody going with all of this, I couldn't have my teeth done because they wouldn't give me an anaesthetic. So my teeth I've always looked after my teeth. I've never had a single filling. I've got no decay or anything like that. My teeth are in great nick, or what's left of them. But I had a really overcrowded mouth, which didn't matter too much when I was young. As I think I've mentioned before, it stopped a potential modelling career after I retired off the bike, but that wasn't something I wanted to do anyway. I think I've told the story. I happened to be modelling Lycra for the BBC Clothes Show, purely because I worked in the shop that sold it, and they asked me and a guy called Matt, who was British triathlon champion, whether we'd like to body model, and we said, yeah, fine. Why wouldn't you? Telly, innit? We were only kids. And it was mentioned to me that if I had my teeth done, then I had a career as a model. And couldn't have my teeth done. I didn't particularly want a career as a model, thank you very much. So that wasn't an issue. And it just meant I had slightly crooked teeth, or really crooked teeth, which didn't really hamper me in any way, shape or form. But when you live too long, we're back to we're supposed to die by 40 thing. When you live too long, life comes and bites you on the arse. So, factor together this massively overcrowded mouth of mine where I've got teeth all growing into each other. And then factor in age and receding gums. And then factor in that I smoke, which obviously isn't good for gums. And then factor in that I'm pretty bloody sure I grind my teeth at night. And all of those things combined means that at the age of whatever I am, just about to hit 52 in a couple of weeks, I've I've already lost one tooth, although that wasn't entirely natural. It was a little bit wibbly and slightly wonky, but that one was actually a lucky punch when I forgot how old I was, and there was a guy. I was just driving along, and there was a guy and his girlfriend, and they'd obviously had some sort of a fallout, and I was sitting at the traffic lights, and they were having an argument, and then the guy just took it a bit too far, and I forgot that they were young, and he was a big young bloke, and I forgot that I was an old man. You see a woman being roughed up, what do you do? So I bloody ran at him full tilt. I say it was a lucky punch. It wasn't. It wasn't lucky, and it wasn't a punch. As I grabbed him from behind to get him off her, he just did the normal elbow thing and knocked my bloody tooth straight out. And the wrong one. That was my good tooth. That was the one that was in the right place. It's this one that didn't used to be this bad, but since my gums started receding, it started sticking out like that. I mean, I look like a nightmarish version of Ken Dodd. I wish I'd knocked that one out. That would have been fine. I'd have actually looked better with that one gone. But no, it was the one that was in the right bloody place. But now I've got a wibbly wobbly one here as well. And I'm sure it's something to do with grinding the teeth, because it kind of, it's the one that sticks down a little bit more than the other. So if I was grinding my teeth in the night, it's the one that would get caught. And you do that with receding gums and smoker's gums and an overcrowded mouth anyway, and that's probably why. So the cunning plan is to become very, very rich, and I'll just bugger off to America or Nepal or somewhere, and I'll have the whole lot taken out and some beautiful implants put in, and I'll look amazing. And then I can have a career as a model. I'll get my cyst removed while I'm at the same, because the NHS are taking forever. I'm on about a 15-year waiting list to get this thing removed. And then I can have a career as a model for I'll model wide fronts for the over 60s or something like that. But that was a very long answer to somebody asking me how my toothache situation was going. And it's fine. It's not as acutely painful as it was when I had that flare up on Tuesday night. I also had an abscess which has now gone away. I presume it's something to do with the wibbly wobbly tooth or something. It was, well, I know it was, because that's where the toothache was. But yeah, so it's it's a little bit achy, but it's not anything to worry about. Christ almighty, I bet you're sorry you asked now, aren't you? Dear me. Sorry about that, guys. Cracking on. Oh, we've got another OPWAP. Camilla. Oh, is that controversial? Well, our Queen Consort, or as the King would like us to begin to call her, the Queen. I don't know. Is it treason to suggest podgering the King's wife? Quite possibly. Let's see. Gilbert asks, are you planning some rumpy pumpy in the caravan? Well, hope springs eternal in the human breast, Gilbert. I'm certainly not planning it with mustard, and I'm certainly not planning it in the presence of mustard. But I might have a kind of date type thing coming up in the new year. So who knows? Who knows? But hope springs eternal. The caravan deserves to be christened, doesn't it? And I was going to say Mustard can't do it. I suppose he could if he stayed there with his wife, but I don't want to think about Mustard getting up to pottering in my caravan. I suppose if he did it on his side of the bed. And yeah, he's already expressed some disquiet at sharing a two-berth caravan with, as he put it, a drunken priest. So, but Yeah, I'm not planning any rumpy pumpy in the caravan, but who knows? If it was, I'm not going to say no, am I? Well, I mean, I would say no under certain circumstances. With the right person, in the right circumstances, who knows? I'm not filming it though. That would be going too far. Um, uh, oh, hello. This is interesting. Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group says, I'm not sure how I ended up here. Merry Christmas all. Um, well, we're not sure how you ended up here, Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. And in fact, we're the wrong people to ask because none of us are sure how we ended up here. We're just here and we're making the best of it. I expect it's probably some sort of cult. And up to now, I've been kind of nice and I've enticed you in by pretending to be all lovely and kindly. But at some time, I'll probably turn into a despot and insist you hand over all of your possessions and change all of your wills to benefit me. Something like that. KKC saw Vorderman on TV this morning and says that ship has sailed. So that's a no. That's a no to the Christmas Carol Vorderman Would You feature. I'm afraid it's a no from KKC, Carol. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what that's in relation to. Hooked on Classics is with us and says hello and hello to you and Merry Christmas. You're not having Wilma Flintstone as an OPWAP because she's not real. Hello. D-Mac is with us and he would do Carol anytime. I assume it's a he. Yeah, I got confused about this last time. I'll have to, I don't know. But whoever D-Mac is would happily have a go on Carol Vorderman. And fair play. So I think that's one yes, one no. Somebody keeps score of on the Carol Vorderman meter. Vorderman meter. Anyway, it's 1-1. T-shirt slogan, Woofy. Would you F it? Gilberti Cadwaker had a korma, rice and naan for his Christmas lunch. This is a feature. What did you have for your Christmas lunch stroke meal? And very similar to mine and very untraditional, unless you live somewhere where that is a traditional meal. D-Mac ate so much that they still can't move. Mr. B&B, that's Beards and Bangers, driving the F-31 for visiting relatives and eating. What's an F-31? I don't know what an F-31 is. It sounds like some sort of an American fighter plane. Is it that van thing, that Volkswagen van thing of yours? I presume it must be, unless you bought another car. Bloody hell, this guy is going out and buying, let me get my mathematics right, he's buying on average 1.7 cars per week. My God. Anyway, so he was driving the F-31 for visiting relatives and eating. 3-bird roast, you pervert. We don't need to know about your sexual practices. Oh, sorry, he's talking about dinner. He's talking about a meal. My apologies. I thought that was, never mind. 3-bird roast with peanut butter yams. Oh, interesting. Roasties, stuffing, sprouts, open bracket, pop, close bracket, carrots and piggies in their little blankets. Blimey. What are you having for supper? Ali McMechanical. Oh, he had roast pork and all the trimmings. Oh, hello. Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. I'm falling in love with that name. I love the idea of a Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. I particularly like the specificity, the specific, I, whatever the word is, I particularly like. I like how specific it is. It's not just the New York Bigfoot Investigation Group, it's the Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group, not to be confused with any of those other fake New York Bigfoot investigation groups. This is the Western arm. And if you're not in West New York, you can bugger off and join one of the other ones. Anyway, the point is, the Christmas dinner there was honey baked ham with some other fixings. I think that's, I can translate partially because I used to live in America. Oh yes. Although I was never invited to join any branch of the Bigfoot investigation group, and I now feel that I've missed out. Maybe I'll go back. And other fixings is like our thing of all the trimmings. Oh, and roasted veggies. Fabulous. KKC for Christmas lunch had the usual turkey. What? Same one? You have the same one every year, do you? Just get it out the freezer, hack another little bit off it, put the rest away for next year. And he asks the question, what's everyone doing with the leftovers? And he's going turkey and ham pie tomorrow. How long do you have to get on to before you hit the curry? Turkey curry is normally about day 7, isn't it? MCH _ 419 says, my nephew got me one of those hot tortilla chips. It was the eBay one, so I don't know how hot it was, but definitely the hottest thing I've ever eaten. If it had anything to do with the Carolina Reaper Naga, then yeah, it would have been. Tracy Pattison had a Christmas lunch with gorgeous Brussels sprouts. But what Christmas lunch? That's the point. What? What did you have? Traditional turkey? Let us know. You need some of that weird blue stuff that you flush the bog with in a caravan. Weird blue stuff that you flush a bog with. Do I? Okay. We'll look into that. I'll become a caravan bog expert, no doubt. Stephen S. Paul had a bologna and mustard sandwich with some pepper. That sounds quite good, actually. Now, Beards and Bangers has weighed in on the subject that I'm most enthusiastic about tonight. Toast. And he says, the toast rack prevents toast sweat. Toast sweat is an evil that doesn't get called out enough. What is toast sweat? Is toast sweat the thing that you get, that if you've got it flat on a plate and you hot toast on the plate, and when you lift it up, there's like condensation residue on the plate? Is that the toast sweat? I totally agree with you. The air needs to circulate around your toast. Otherwise, it's going to grunge itself in the toast sweat and go all damp and soggy. And nobody wants that. D-Mac had 1 Christmas turkey roast, all of the trimmings, 3 desserts, 3 pots of tea, and then she asked him to dance. Bloody hell. Well, I mean, I metaphorically take my hat off to you for firing all of that lot down the little red lane. Gilbert T. Codwacker says, I butter my toast piping hot because you are an animal, sir. Tracy Pattison can't stand cold toast. Cold toast is the best thing ever with some really, really good butter. Not freezing cold, but you don't want toast at full toaster temperature. You want that little bit of heat taken off, because you don't want the butter melting and dribbling all over everything. You want the butter to keep its form. And oh yeah. What? I should rub it up. I do like toast from a toast rack, says MCH_419. I'm not a oh, I love these live streams. Two features in one comment. I do like toast from a toast rack. I'm not a fan of podgering the current edition of Carol Vorderman. I love the idea that we can combine toast and podgering Carol Vorderman in the same comment. I love you guys. I love these live streams. But it's another no for Carol. So that's 2 no's and only 1 yes. Let's see. Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group says, I wish I could introduce you to the joys of Genesi beer, Boaty. I wish you could too. I'll have to come to New York, won't I? Obviously the western part. I wouldn't go anywhere near those splitters in the southeastern New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. Ugh, wouldn't have anything to do with them. Wouldn't open the door if they knocked. I understand turkey is fab for new teeth. Yeah. Right. I think Facebook are watching these live streams because I'm being inundated by adverts from Turkey telling me to go there and have new teeth. And if I had the money, I would. But I've not mentioned it on Facebook or anywhere. So they must have been watching these live streams, which means that anything that I mention in this live stream, Facebook is going to show me. So, some naked pictures of, who would I like to see? Facebook. I know you're listening, and I would like to see the naked photo shoot of Tiffany from Playboy, please. I'd like you to fill my feed with that. I'd like to see all of the photographs to save me going onto the internet to look at them. And I'd particularly like to see the photographs where you can very clearly see those, and also the photograph where you can see that. Most splendid they were too. So thank you very much for that. Cold burnt toast with good butter is the nuts. I'm with you on that one. Ali Mack is still in his early 40s. Show off. Gilbert's gran is 97 and has 6 teeth. When she was young and really poor, she cleaned them with soot. Yeah, that used to be a thing. You can clean them with charcoal too. Hooked on Classics is late 40s, another child coming in and showing off. I might ban anybody under 50 from the live streams, unless they're female and wish to sleep with me, obviously. Let's see. Arthritis has got an OPWAP. Sherry Hewson, aka Joyce Templeton Savage from the TV comedy Benidorm. No, not a clue. Wasn't she in Coronation Street at some point? Lots of people pronounce tooth differently, but not toothpaste. Interesting. Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group, and please don't even talk to them about the Northern New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. They've got a bit of a feud going on. It's been going on for years and years and years. One day it's all going to end up in the streets and get nasty. But they say, my tonsils grew back. True story. Doctor said it can happen in rare cases. Right. So, blimey. Well, I never knew that. Mr. Ben 747 says, sorry about your brother, that's up. Yeah, well, yeah, it is. It really is. But these things happen in life, don't they? Project MGTF has joined us and says, hello. Hello. I didn't know this was happening. Well, I've been banging on about it for long enough. But I didn't put a thing. I was going to put a thing up this morning with the time, but I wasn't sure what time I was going to get home from the restaurant. So I wasn't sure what time it was going to start. So I didn't. But you haven't missed anything, mate. Honestly, Simon, you haven't missed a thing. I've just been, fucking hell, I've been going on for an hour and 8 minutes, non-stop, talking absolute bilge. But you've not missed a thing. It was all just a load of hairy waffle. Oh, everybody's saying hello to Simon. That's nice. Simon will now say Gilbert had his first filling this year at the age of 47. I still haven't had one. That's the annoying thing. The tooth that was knocked out by that errant elbow is in perfect condition. And this one, it's just there, that's going to come out at some point in the not too distant future. Do you know, that's in perfect condition too. There's nothing wrong with any of my teeth, except that they're all getting fed up with being where they are. They're growing in weird directions, and they're bloody well falling out, leaving me looking like a bloody crack addict. Honestly, the sooner I become incredibly rich and can get myself off to Turkey or whatever and get some nice new ones put in, the better. I might have to start doing OnlyFans and showing my bottom or something. Anyway, oh, now everybody's talking to Simon. Oh, this is a weird comment. D Mac says, I ate too much Simon. You live how you want to live. What you and Simon get up to is your own business. I'm not going to judge you, and neither is anybody else here. Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group, who is not to be confused with those guys from the southeast, we don't talk about them, says, I love the word kerfuffle. I use it as often as possible. I love the word kerfuffle as well. Oh, we have a hidden comment. This will be filth. Let's see the nature of this filth. Whoa, dude, cannibalism is illegal. D-Mac, you can't go posting shit like that online. That's MCH _ 419 in response to D-Mac, who told the world, or at least the 7 people watching this, how many are watching it? 29! Bloody hell, on Christmas night. Oh, I'll take that as a victory. But yeah, that's in relation to D-Mac telling everybody here that he ate too much Simon. Bat Books is with us. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Well, oh God, that's Twitter. Oh, and I've got, hang on a minute, I'm going to reply to this one. I'm just going off YouTube a while. And I should reply saying, excellent. I'm live at the moment, dash. Do pop by if you feel so. No, actually I won't send that because I know for a fact that she'll be busy with the kids, won't she? She won't want to be buggering about on live stream. Of course she won't. Let's get back to some comments. Oh, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I hate hospitals. I've only ever had one operation. Don't remember a thing after being wheeled into the room. The waiting to go home was the worst bit. That's from Simon. Another hidden comment. Boaty, you naked, what a sight. Yeah. not pretty. I'm not the man I used to be. Um, yeah, even I don't look anymore. Thank God I'm old enough that it doesn't matter. Uh, oh, I'm really sorry, Gilbert. It's horrible losing a sibling. My sister died of cancer age 42 and I miss her every day. I'm really sorry, mate. Sincere condolences. And yeah, it sucks. Stephen S. Paul says 32 people in chat. Blimey. Did we hit 32? That might be some sort of record. Simon asks, when I try and tag someone in the chat, does it highlight the message? I can never figure out the YouTube chat protocols. I don't know. If you see a name that's highlighted, it's because they're a channel member. And if you're a channel member, you get a highlighted name and a badge and some other perks and my undying gratitude and free access to my Momo collection and wine cellar. If you see a message that's highlighted, it's because it's been sent as a super chat or a super sticker. I think I'm learning all of these things. Has Boaty shrunk or have those pepper grinders grown? Do you know what it is? It's because you're looking at me from a different angle. I'll show you. I need a cigarette. This was supposed to be a laid back thing when I wasn't really here. And I've been rattling on for a pissing hour and a quarter and I need a break. But the reason that the pepper grinders look bigger is because you used to be on this and now you're not, because I've got a really cute little tripod which I've named Sonia after a really cute little person, and it really is super cute and I love it very much. And you're on there now, but you're much lower down. I can't show you because you're on it. I'll show you it another day. But you're much lower down, and that's why the salt and pepper grinders are looking larger by comparison. And now you're just going to have to talk amongst yourselves. I'm going for a cigarette. I'll shout at you from the door. I'm really touched to have all of your company. Thank you so much. This is really nice of you. And if you've got better things to do, don't feel that you have to stay listening to this nonsense or not listening to me when I'm not even talking, when I'm going for a cigarette. Oh, does anybody want to come to the casino with me tomorrow night? We could have a laugh. It would be Sheffield, by the way. Oh God, that's better. Oh, I needed that. I should get some incidental music and a sign to play while I'm off. Oh, actually, yeah, while I'm smoking a fag, while I'm smoking my cigarette, why don't you all tell me what you're doing tomorrow? And that might give me some ideas of what I could do tomorrow. I'll tell you one thing I do need. I desperately need a new microwave. Mine is beyond knackered. And I want a flatbed one like we've got at work. Not one of those with the turntable. I want a nice flatbed one that's white, clean and easy to look after and everything, and you can fit a great big square plate into. And I had a quick search last night, and I saw that Asda have got one on offer. It was cheap anyway. It was only 75 quid for a flatbed microwave. It's only a weak one, 700 watt, but I don't care about that. My microwaves at work are like 4,000 watts or something stupid. They're these massive commercial ones that cost like £3 a piece, and they incinerate anything in, you know, you could heat up an elephant, you could defrost and cook an elephant in them in less than a minute. They're terrifying. At home, I don't mind just a little weaky one. But anyway, I saw that Asda had got one, 75 quid, which is cheap enough, reduced to 60. And you're not going to believe this, guys and gals. Look, I've actually got some money. Look, real paper money. And I would love to go and buy one of these microwaves, but it's Boxing Day and it's going to be heaving, isn't it? So I'm not going to do that. I'll do that later in the week. I don't even know where there is a bloody Asda. Yeah, tomorrow I think play with cars and yeah, play with cars and hit the casino in the evening, I think. I need to sort out some rear tyres for Stigbutt. So I need to decide what to go for. And I'll need tyres for Sheeson as well, but Sheeson is still up at Mustards, of course. No, just making noises now, don't know why. And I don't think I've got anything for lunch either. I don't plan Monday lunches because Monday is my takeaway, eat rubbish treat day. But of course I won't be at Mustard's place tomorrow because I assume that he will be having a family day, as most people do on Boxing Day. Oh, I'll tell you what I wouldn't mind doing. Haven't done it for a while. Drive over the Cat and Fiddle. And drop down into Macclesfield and have a cheeky Big Mac. What did I drive over the Snake Pass in? I think, not the Snake Pass, the Cat and Fiddle. I think I was in Sheeson last time. Be kind of fun to do that in Stigbutt, although the rear tyres are kind of on the limit. Oh, but they're the rear ones, it doesn't matter, does it? Front ones are alright, and it's the front wheels that do all the work. I've got somebody potentially interested in buying Stigbutt, and I was wondering, now, if I sold Stigbutt, what would I replace him with? Now, at the moment, I'm not particularly minded to sell him. I'm not minded to sell any car. I sold Henrietta because of a certain set of circumstances. One was that I was utterly skint, but that wouldn't have been enough on its own. The other was that the right owner came along, and if I had any doubts about that, which I didn't, by the way, you've only got to see the love that Simon is giving her now to see that she's absolutely gone to the right home. And the thing is that the person who is potentially interested in Stigbutt would also be, I won't tell you who it is, but it's one of us. And it would be the same situation again. He would be going to a better home than me. So the situation could arise where, even though I didn't want to sell him, if keeping him meant that I was denying him a better home, then I would feel guilty about that, as stupid as that sounds. So I could be in a situation where I felt, through guilt and moral obligation, obliged to sell him. And I was just wondering, theoretically, what would I replace him with? And I was thinking, what about an S-type Jag? Mustard was going on about them. And I've had an S-type. I've only ever had, I've had two S-types. I had a very early 3 litre manual, very early one. And then I had a facelift 2.5 litre auto. And I was really quite fond of them. They're a car that's not without fault. They rot like billion. They rot like billion. And they've got a fault with the headlamps. The headlamps always drop. They eat heater voles for breakfast. That's why I had the two S-types. Yeah, this will give you an insight into me, right? I got the 3 litre, the early manual. That came about because I swapped it for my Lexus RX 300, which might sound not like a very good swap, but it was with my mate Little Norm, who's a mechanic. And the Lexus had got to the stage where it was an amazing car. I had that car almost from new, and it was phenomenal. Really, really excellent car. It had all the options. It was a good, capable 4x4. I was married, of course, when I bought that, and it was family transport, and it carried the dogs, and it took us away to places and whatnot. But the Lexus was the car I brought with me after the divorce, and it was the car I brought here to Windy Bum. And it got to the stage where I managed to limp it through about 3 MOTs, codging the exhaust, for example, but it just got to the stage where it needed money thrown at it, and I didn't have the money. And Little Norm had always fancied it. So I swapped it with his S-type Jag. And this S-type Jag, early 3 litre, it had the heater valve problem, so it wouldn't blow hot air. The heater was stuck on only blowing cold air. So I thought, well, I know how to solve that. I'll buy another S-type Jag where the heater is also knackered, but it's stuck on hot. And then I'll use one in the winter and one in the summer. And that's exactly what I did, until they rotted away from the inside out. And I preferred the facelift. The early dash didn't date well, really didn't date well. Whereas the facelift I thought was quite a nice car. So I wouldn't mind one of those. And this is going to be controversial. I wouldn't mind an all-wheel drive X-type estate V6. Automatic with the Randall handle. And I know that you're not supposed to like X-types, and I know that there are a Mondeo and a Frock and all of that, but I honestly don't see the problem with them. I've had an X-type. I've only had one, and I bought it from a friend. I needed a car, and my friend said she would sort me out, and to save me, I'd bought a couple of bad cars. I went through a phase where, for some reason, I forgot that I'm supposed to know what I'm doing, and somehow I bought two bad cars, one after the other. You know, looking back, I can kind of forgive myself. I wouldn't make the same mistake again. But that's because I know what to look for now. I mean, I'll tell you, one of them was a Nissan Almera. And by this stage, I was into my £500 kick. And I bought this Almera, and it was a one-owner car with a full service history, and it had not long been serviced, right? So, and it was a really nice spec car. I like Nissans. And, you know, I thought, how far around can you go? One owner car, full history, checked out all the way through. Both stamps and receipts and bills and whatnot. Now, it was only, what happened with that was I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. Are they chain driven? And the chain stretches, and that throws the cam, is it the cam sensor? And that throws a fault which puts the car into limp mode. And obviously, you know, I figured that what happened afterwards, the chain stretches on those. And at some point when it stretches, that's what happens. And it's like a, you know, for Mr. Retail, it's a £2,000 job or something to replace the chain, which, you know, effectively obviously scraps the car. And so what had obviously happened was the guy had this thing serviced, presumably by his regular chap, and had obviously been told by his mechanic, look, your chain's getting towards the end of its life, flog the car before this happens. Oh, don't know what happened there. So I bought it. It drove absolutely perfectly. I really quite liked it. But then that happened. So yeah, and then I made another mistake with the car after that. So my friend said, I will sell you my ex-husband's car. We're still really good friends. We've got a business together. And he's an MOT tester. That's his business. So you know you're getting a good car. So you're not going to make another mistake. So I bought this X-Type, the 1.9 turbo diesel, which was a nice thing in light blue with every option, wooden steering wheel, cruise, everything going for it. With a leaper, the first Jag I've had that actually had a leap. No, it can't be the first one, but the first Jag for ages had actually had a leaper. Aftermarket fitted, obviously, they couldn't be done by the factory at that point. I think they're actually illegal, strictly speaking. And I really quite liked that. I really did like it until it came for the MOT, which I expected it to sail through, because this friend's ex-husband, MOT tester, it had failed the previous MOT on a load of stuff, including welding, which had all been done in order for, and it was a long list of stuff that had been done. So what else could go wrong? You know, maybe a bulb, maybe a tyre might be a bit low or something, but I knew it was going to fly through the MOT. Well, did it fuck? It failed the MOT on everything it had failed the previous MOT on. So that MOT was as bent as a 9-bob note. That's friends for you, eh? And ex-husbands. Oh, let's catch up with some comments. Where did I get to? Oh, bloody hell, fire. Sodding hell, you lot have been busy. That's where I got to. No, I'm not reading that out, Gilbert. Your health is your wealth. Anything after that is a bonus, says DMAC. Quite correct. Oh, that's them talking about them, talking amongst themselves. The sex caravan with haulers and bidders on the roof. Yeah, they might come in handy if, we don't need to talk about that. Um, I, bloody hell. I can fix you up with Allegro man's mum. She likes pubs, chippy tea, and beer. Thank you. I started a band called Sasquatch a few years ago. Loved the whole Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti thing. I prefer Twitch for that. It has everybody listed under an alphabetical system. People are saying hello to Hooked on Classics, who apparently is called Simone. I didn't know that. Hello, Simone. Lovely to meet you. Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group, and please don't even think about mixing that group of fine people up with the Northwestern New York Bigfoot Investigation Group, who quite frankly are total bastards. There, I said it, and I'm not even sorry. That was a funny response to my first comment. I like it here already. Excellent, and we like you being here. It's a Carol Vorderman, definitely, says Ali Max. So that's 2-2 for the yes and no's now. So that's evenly evened. Beards and Banger says F31 is the BMW 3-seater sister. I forgot you had that sodding thing. Bloody hell. So that ups the average of cars that Mr. B&B is buying up to, I think he's now buying an average of 1.9 cars per week. He went somewhere quite northerly, and bought a rather posh BMW estate. And I think it was because his other half's car, which I think I'm right in saying is a Fiat 500, had got dirty. It had been driven on a dirty road. So he's not one to mess about, is Mr. B&B. And his other half came back and confessed that, look, darling, because she calls him darling, and why wouldn't you? I would love to call him darling, and I would call him darling if we had breakfast together and he deployed a toast rack and passed the rack to me in order to offer me a slice of toast that was completely devoid of toast sweat. Anyway, she came back in from her tennis lesson and said, darling, I'm sorry I've got the car dirty. And he said, don't worry, I will immediately drive 300 miles north and buy a very expensive BMW 3 Series Touring, which I will make videos about. And he did nothing less than that. And we, his viewers, can only be grateful. Right, okay. Estate cars for the win, says Simon, who now owns an estate car and I don't, so I'm going to disagree with you just to be awkward. You don't want to get confused. The East and West will have a dance off. Oh, seriously, yeah. The friction. It's Simon. It's not friction between the East and West New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. It's not friction. It's verging on downright warfare. That's what's going on there. I mean, those guys, it's developed into so much more than just a geographical issue. Those guys have, if those guys ever meet on a dark night, then evacuate New York. That's all I'm saying. Let me see. He says, I love this guy. Boaty, you are awesome. Oh, thank you very much. I love you too. Cheers, and a very happy Christmas. There is no mustard here. He must be tinkered. It's Christmas night. He's a family man. Of course he's going to be doing family things. Maybe if we're still going, then when all of the family are asleep in bed, perhaps he'll join us. I don't know, but I'm sure he's got better things to do. MCH_419 wonders, is the group Western New York, or do they only search for Western New York Bigfoot, foots, feet? Oh, no. You you, MCH underscore 419, you have raised a very valid point, and you have turned this entire live stream on its head, because I had not considered that. I've been banging on about the Western New York Bigfoot investigation group and the geographical nature of their group, and so on and so on and so on. I hadn't even thought or begun to think about whether they only investigated Bigfoot feats that were from Western New York. And I'm no expert on Bigfoot, but as I understand it, he lives up a mountain somewhere, or they live up mountains somewhere, or something of that nature. So how would you know if they were from Western New York, if they were up a mountain? And I'm not saying that you wouldn't know. These guys are obviously experts. That's why they spend their life being from Western New York and investigating. I mean, it's a very niche thing they do, but they're happy to spend their lives doing it. And they would obviously have some way of identifying a big feats that originated from Western New York. And I would just love to know what it is. Perhaps they wear a badge of some nature. Or if it's a gang related thing, perhaps they wear a certain brand of sneaker, or have some form of identifying tattoo. And that wouldn't work with Bigfoot. That's, why would you get a tattoo if you were a Bigfoot? Because you'd be all hairy. Nobody would see it. It'd be pointless. You'd spend all that money on a tattoo that nobody would see. Or are there areas of a Bigfoot that are hair free, like chimpanzees? Now, I happen to know, because I used to run a chimpanzee quiz, and this is absolutely true. I did run a chimpanzee quiz for Sainsbury's. I happen to know that there are certain areas of a chimpanzee that are hair free. And one of them is somewhere where you might not expect, because it's somewhere where we have hair, but they don't. And it's under the old arm. That's a hair-free zone on a chimp, as is the palm of their hands or paws and the soles of their feet. So perhaps that applies to big feet too. And perhaps that's where they have the gang affiliation tattoo that shows they are a Western New York Bigfoot. But I am, that's guesswork on my part. Educated guesswork, perhaps, with some chimpanzee knowledge thrown in, indubitably. But, I'm sure we'll find out from the experts. It might already be in comments, and I haven't got to it because I've got all behind. I'm going to go through these comments now like greased weasel droppings, and then I'm going for the other half of my cigarette. Right, let's do this. Here we go. Ali Mac says, younger than you, D-Mac, 43 years old, be 44 in January. My birthday in January too. Ali Mac, when is yours? Mine's the 14th. Gilbert T. Codrecker says, most caravan owners own a budgie and do wife swapping. Well, that'll be something for me to look forward to. Simon says, toast discussion, eh? I flip between buttering the toast straight away or leaving it to go cold enough for the butter not to melt. Well, don't flip, just leave it until it goes cold enough for the butter not to melt, because that is the correct thing to do. Gilbert says, I believe some parts of the UK don't have potato cakes, and it's fine for you to believe that. Has to be thick bread for toast as well, says Simon. Medium or thin is useless. I disagree. I'm perfectly happy with medium for a slice of toast. D-Mac says, God, I thought you were a young 55. Ali, lol. Well, that's rude. Pikelets, baby. No, I'm not reading that one out. Right. Ali Mac says, we have potato scones. And he's from Scotland, so that's good to know. and he tells DMAC that he was born in 1979, which makes him exceedingly young. Your search history, Boaty, the eyes are everywhere. If somebody's been looking through my search history, they clearly haven't, because I haven't been arrested yet. Google listens to everything, Boaty. Oh God, yeah, well, that explains a lot. Toast done on a fork over an open coal fire, buttered so it smelts. Gorgeous, reminds me of my great granddad Simon. Gilbert has got a thing hidden. Calavordaman nude. DMAC says, God, me and Boaty must be the sexiest things on YouTube. You know it. Oh, yes. Simon says, we used to toast bread in front of the gas fire in the winter. He does live in the north. He also used to wipe his bottom on newspapers. Oh, right, that's between them. Simon was born in the best year, 76. He's also young. MCH _ 419 is a mere 45, but has the grumpiness of Victor Meldrew. So can I stay in chat? Yes. DMAC says my stage name is Tina Turner. Oh yeah, good try. KKC says, if Facebook are watching, I think Rolls Royce are the best cars in the world. Mike, Classic Wheels Wales, is a proper age. He's 54, and proper men are in their 50s. KKC is giving us an OPWAP. Stephanie Beecham, Colby's era. You can't have a Colby's era. You've got to have her as she is now. James Wilson was born in 01. 01? That makes him about 5. My God, what are you doing here with all us old farts? MCH _ 419 says, if I start an OnlyFans, my only subscribers would be men who wanted to show their wives how bad the alternative is. That, my dear friend, is the niche that I'm going to go for. I know it's your idea, but I'm going to steal it because I'm like that. Now then. My underpants. Somebody says that tells James Wilson that their underpants are older than you. Correct. And James replies saying, you're trying to tell me that you have underpants older than 21 years old. Most men in their 40s have got underwear that's more than 21 years old. Okay. All right, we're trying to tag people. Let me see. Now we're talking about smoking. Oh, that's a good question. Did anybody get anything random as a gift this year? Don't ask me, I didn't get a gift this year. Same as every other year. I got 2 Christmas cards this year from Nikki and Nick. And that's it, not a present inside. But I'd love to hear about your random gifts. And now we're talking about what people are doing tomorrow. Ali Mac is going to be rubbing down a wing and painting it properly. Gilbert is going to be cleaning. Hooked on Classics is going to be trying to find out where the knocking noise is coming from in her neighbour's car. Simon has got his parents, brother and son coming over tomorrow for food and general pleasantries. Chef Daniel. Hello, Chef Daniel. Chef Daniel, tomorrow we're travelling to Nidderdale for a few days holiday. Oh, brilliant. Boaty wants a new property ping. We don't really call them property ping in Welsh. That's a bit of a myth. I'm off to Longbridge tomorrow, says KKC, being dragged around the sales. Stephen S. Paul is off for a few days. Lots of cars to move when I get back to work. Asked to do delivery and it might be free, says Tracy Pattison. I'll look into that. Good shout, because I don't know where the nearest Asda is. The nearest big one, anyway. There's a small one in Chesterfield, but I don't know where the nearest big one is. Apparently Mustard has an unused air fryer in his lockup. Yeah, I saw that. It's 2 in the... Oh, hello. Tracy Patterson is going to be watching My Fair Lady and having a chilled day. That sounds like fun. Oh, random gift from MCH _ 419. He got some hand knitted slippers. Oh dear. That's quite funny. Simon says, you're welcome round our house if you're stuck for something to do. I'm not sure if that's aimed at me or just everybody. Should we all pile round to Simon's house? All 30 of us. Might involve an airline flight for some of you. Cat and Fiddle is ruined by those cameras. Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? Did you see Ian Seabrook made a boom microphone using a windscreen wiper? No, I've got a load of catching up to do with videos. It's been kind of busy, the restaurateurs. I have kind of got some restaurant news, but I don't know whether to tell you or not. I don't know if you'd be interested. I'll get to the end of these comments before I go off on any other doings, because I don't want anybody to feel left out. McDonald's is just eating sleep. McDonald's is a human fast food equivalent of E10. Burger King is like E5, and Five Guys is the E599 octane. Okay, controversial. Another Christmas feature: Burger King or McDonald's or an other. Let's hear your views. If you sell Stigbutt, Allegro Man has a lovely 2003 pre-drive 45 that will be for sale, and it's silver. Ooh, is it a saloon? I've got a hatch. It's a saloon I need. There's a beautiful one in one of the groups up in Scotland. Gilbert, you'll have seen this. A beautiful 45 saloon, diesel, super low mileage, connoisseur with all the options. I'd love that car. The guy wants 1,500 quid for it, and it looks like it's worth every penny of that. So yeah, if that one was about and I sold Stigbutt, I'd be tempted, but I'm sure it'll be snapped up. S-Type is a nice motor, says KKC. Mr. B&B says S-Types would have to be an R, the V8. I'd love one of those. But then I would go for that one, wouldn't I? Says the guy who, yeah, you totally would. Because this is the guy who got a ZT190 and then thought, nah, I think I'll have a 260 as well. So yeah, belt and braces, he's got them both. I'm going to take my caravan down to his place and I'm going to camp outside his house and until he lets me drive all of them. Bad Books is going for a walk to walk the dogs on Hunstanton Beach, get in the shed and put the 2 hibernating cars on smart charge. MCH _ 419, I think I might chuck a pie in to warm up. All of this food talk is getting me hungry. I'm getting peckish now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's curry. S-Types do rot very quickly on seals. My friend has one in his garage at the moment. Needs plenty of love. Excuse me. S-Type is a great motor, but nowhere as great as a 75. The 75 is the finest executive car around. No, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, I love a 75, but this was something I was going to talk about. I'm going to do it on a video at some point, but the 75 is a good executive car. It's not the finest, and I would argue that we drive Rover 75s because they're the best available at that price point. You can't argue that they're a finer car than a Jag XJ or a Mercedes S-Class or a Lexus 450 or a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. But I'll do that in a video or in another live chat, because I want to get through these comments. Oh, Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group says, this has been fun. Merry Christmas again, all. I subscribed, Boaty. Thank you. Very grateful for that. Maybe someday I can get you to come on my podcast. I do a couple of different ones. I would love to do that. And time permitting, I would be happy to do a guest spot on anybody's podcast. I'm such a tart. Welcome to the madness of Mr. Boaty. Yeah. Did you see X-Type is one of the more cramped cars in the back, but then again I'm 6'5". I'm also 6'5", James, and you're not going to get more cramped in the back than a bloody Rover 75. I have my seat in my 75s as far back as possible and as low down as possible, and not even a doll could get in the back seat with the seat in that position. Let's have a look. I thought about an X-Type years ago, but the missus said it was an old man's car. I'm an old man now. Me too. So yeah, I'd think about it. I like the X-Type estate. I really do. And if it was in all-wheel drive, V6, and had the Randall handle, and had the nice light wood trim with the nice leather and the wood steering wheel, and the one with those nice twiddly little controls on there. I love all of that. And that would be right up there for one of my dream cars. I can't remember. Buy a V70, they are fab. I love a Legro Man's V70. If I had room, I would have one tomorrow. I'm not averse to the idea of a Volvo, I must admit. Mr. Ben747 says, am I right in thinking you used to have a Mark 1 Focus, Boaty? Yeah, I had a Mark 1, which was an ex-Channel Islands 1.6 gear with the lowest gear spec that you've ever seen. That was an automatic. And I had a Mark 1.5 2-litre gear, 16-volt Z-Tech, the blacktop. So yeah, Vorderman is a hard no. Oh dear, 3-2 against. Crown Vics are lovely cars, plus they have more space than a 747. Right, if I was going to go down the American car route, it wouldn't be a Crown Vic. It wouldn't be an Australian American car like whatever that thing is that Ian's got. I'll tell you exactly what it would be. It would be a Chevrolet Caprice, because the first time that I lived in the States, I lived in Chicago, and all of the cabs were Chevrolet Caprices, and that's what I would like. I would like a Chicago taxi, and that's what I'd have. Mr. B&B says, oh, you seducers, you with your talk of toast racks, darling. I know, who can resist? It's all right. I own an estate Boaty from 1972, says Simone, hooked on classics. I didn't know I came in estate form. Now, I'm from 1971, so they obviously released the estate version of me, the estate Boaty, in 1972, the year after they released me. So I wonder what the estate version of me looks like. Have I got one of those big J-Lo curvy bubble butts with an extra tailgate release and storage in the floor? I saw Bigfoot at Expedition Everest in Orlando. Top estates for me, says James Wilson. Number 1, Rover 75 Tourer stroke MG ZTT. Number 2, Jaguar XF Sport Brake. Number 3, Rover 400 Tourer, and also including the SD1 estate and P6 Tourer as honourable mentions. neither of which were actual factory things, were they? They were aftermarket conversion jobs. And then Volvo estates up to 2016. Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group tells me specifically, no one, and they put that in capital letters, so they really, really mean it. No one is an expert on Bigfoot. Some claim to be, and then the inference is that they're big fat liars, but I am not one of them. Well, that's very candid of you, and we appreciate that. Hidden comment. Do chimps have hairy asses? No. Yes. Yeah, they do. It's baboons that don't, isn't it? I think. Simon says, the way you tell a Western and Eastern Bigfoot apart is their accent, obviously. Silly me. Why did I not think of that? You've done it? No, I'm not reading that out. I miss Rover R3, 225 ZR Streetwise ownership. Lovely cars, always loved them all my life, like all the other Rovers. Beautiful cars. I miss my 25. I could get loads in them. I have two. I'm with you. I'd love my dream hatch, a Rover 25 GTI one day. They're fetching a few quid, aren't they? Certainly beyond my means. If anyone can make money from something my daft mind creates, then feel free. I will. Bad books, you're the same age as my mum. Ouch! Where are we all going to? Simon's? Restaurant news, please, boats. I'm going to have a fag and then I'll tell you about the restaurant stuff. You need a second mortgage for Burger King. I agree with that. Simon's having a rave. Hello. That 45 Allegra man has for sale was my old one. You saw it at Project Nigel's yard when we had a chat, Boaty. I kept the wooden wheel there. Oh, James, I'm really sorry, mate. I'm terrible with names, and I didn't make the connection as to who you were. But now, obviously, I know exactly who you are. Right, okay. So that was your car. I'm amazed you parted with it, because obviously I know the meaning it had for you. And that is a car that if I had funds, I would be very, very interested in. So if Allegro Man is selling it, could somebody please ping me details? Because I kind of fell in love with that car a bit. And James, I apologise for not realising immediately who you were. Burger King is excellent when it's excellent. McDonald's is mostly like meh, so when it's good, it's really appreciated. Ebenezer, hello. Well, we can agree to right. James is convinced that the 75. Well, he's convinced that the 75 is better than an S-type. I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't argue with anybody having the opinion that a 75 is better than an S-type. In many, many ways, I would prefer a 75 to an S-type. Whether it's better than any Merc, Lexus or Rolls-Royce, I accept that to you it is. But as a generality, I would take issue with that. And further, he's taken me to task by saying, I don't think they're cramped. I can sit in the back in my position. In fact, I think they're probably one of the best cars to sit in the back. You obviously have your seat a lot further forward than I do. I have the seat. In fairness, in my ZT, the seat won't go as far back as it does in the 75. So I could sit in the back in my ZT, and I do agree that the rear seats in a 75 are really very nice. Deeply scalloped, nicely shaped, fabulous leather, a lovely big armrest, and your own cup holders. So we're kind of on the same sheet, to be fair. Let me see. Mr. B&B says, if Boaty was an estate car, I think it would be a P6 Estora, rare and sought after, or rare, unwanted and unloved, but thank you, what a nice thing to say. The SD1 was factory but concepted as an estate, and the P6 was converted to an estate. I quite liked the XJS shooting brakes that, was it a company called Lynx used to do? They were quite cool. I've seen the Series 1 SD1 estate in the British Motor Museum, and there is a Series 2 SD1 estate somewhere. Simon says, replying to Beards and Bangers and talking about me, I think it'd be a prototype that when all the costs were taken into account was scrapped. I can't argue with that. Oh, Ali Mac's heading off to bed, so wishes us all a Merry Christmas. I keep forgetting it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, Ali Mac. Merry Christmas, everybody, and sleep tight. And oh, thank God, I've got to the end of the bloody comments. I can go for a fag. James says, I sold it because it needed a big part of welding on it and got told to sell it from the garage, plus my 75 had a new radiator on it. So presumably Allegro man is going to be attending to the welding and then offering the car for sale, Gilbert. Would that be correct? Yeah, please, if it is going to be for sale, if it is going to be for sale, please ping me the details. I would genuinely be interested. That would be a car that I'd like to add to my absolutely permanent, never ever sell collection. It would be up there with Shisen. Right, I've caught up with the comments. Oh God, it's 11 o'clock. We've been going for 2 hours and 4 minutes. Oh, that means I can have a glass of wine. It's wine time. Ha ha! Right, we will have. Is anybody still watching? 25 of you. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a 5-minute break. And if anybody is still watching after a 5-minute break, I will come back with a glass of wine and jolly well carry on. I've got that restaurant stuff to tell you about. It's quite good news, actually. Gave me a good feeling today. Can't believe it's wine time already. That's flown, isn't it? Oh. I told you none of my singles, apart from the lovely Tracy. But Tracy, if you're still watching, I don't count you as singles now. You're like dual zone. You're like one of us as well. You're one of the community here. So I don't, you're just one of us. I don't class you as a singles person anymore. You've kind of hopped over and you've got a foot in both camps now. We know you and we love you. And I really do hope you've all had a fabulous day, or at least an okay day, because it can be tough if you're on your own, Christmas. Well, and if you're mustard, it can be tough even though you're not on your own, because he put up a real bar humbug video, banging on about how bloody awful Christmas was. Yeah, I watched it while I was setting up the live stream. And I thought, oh well, that's put me off. Oh, hang on, hidden comment. I wonder if the viewer count goes down if I take my medication and silence the voices. Just to clarify, I don't hear voices. They told me I was nuts and then fucked off. Yeah, that's the kind of thing my voices do to me. Oh, I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch now. I know what I'm going to have for lunch the Monday after when I'm up at Mustard's. I realised that there's a place on the Milkstone Road I really want to go to. It's one of a chain. I don't normally like chains, and it's called Oodles, and it's a Chinesey type place. And I looked at their menu online, and I really want to try it. God, I love Chinese food. Obviously, having been with Chinese ladies, I got used to actual Chinese food, not the stuff they cook for us in takeaways and restaurants. But here's a top tip. The Chinatown area in Sheffield is amazeballs. My God, you can get some food there. Some of it is bloody terrifying, mind you. You'd need to be brave to eat some of the things they've got on the menu. Chicken feet with black fungus was one memorable one. Oh. Oh, that's nice. Oh, sorry. Cheers, everybody. Merry Christmas. Not much of it left now, is there? 51 minutes of Christmas left. Excuse me. I have got curry, haven't I? Oh, chicken. Oh, yeah, that will do. Oh, I've got to brought this back. I'll show you what I had for my Christmas lunch. Now, this isn't actually what I had for my Christmas lunch. Christmas lunch was dal, and this is and I had it with rice and just, the other guys had it with salmon, I had it with a bit of chicken. This is the same dal, but what we do is whatever dal is left, we add water to it, which is what has happened with this, and turn it into a kind of soup consistency, and then we just eat it with roti as a sort of later on snack. But I'm going full on curry tonight, and I'm saving this for when am I saving it for? Actually, it's probably going to go in the freezer and will be a nice emergency treat lunch, because I'm sticking to the Monday tradition. Tomorrow I'm having some form of takeaway that I'll grab when I'm out. I fancy a McDonald's. I do like a cheeky McDonald's, and I've got a receipt somewhere for with the code for the $1.99 thing. Although I quite like their side salad as well. Comes with a really nice balsamic dressing that actually tastes surprisingly like food, which is unusual for them. But I know people are snobby about McDonald's. I enjoy it as an occasional treat. And Mustard won't go near the place. And of course, on the Mondays when I'm up at Mustard's, which is most Mondays, it's a Milkstone Road job. So yeah, it might be nice to get a cheeky Donald somewhere, and go to one that's a bit of a nice drive. I might go over the Cat and Fiddle, see what the weather's like, I might, what could I could take, Brian Johnston, or that might be too much of a faff tomorrow, and I might just, wash a couple of cars and just nip over to the Matlock one, because that's a lovely drive to Matlock from here. And maybe have a little Christmas drive through Matlock Bath, pop into Cromford railway station maybe. Oh, I could even do I could do a Boaty stations, couldn't I? I did Cromford, so I could do Matlock, or I could do Matlock Bath, or I could do Ambergate. Matlock and Matlock. Oh yeah, I don't want to go to Matlock Bath, do I? It's going to be heaving Boxing Day. Oh God! Oh yeah, Boxing Day. It's going to be the raft. It's going to be the raft race, isn't it? Yeah. Scrub that. I don't want to go anywhere near that. And I don't want to go anywhere near Matlock, and that means I don't want to go to Ambergate either, because the A6 is probably going to be chock-a-block. I probably don't want to go anywhere really, because it's just going to be busy. So wash a couple of cars, maybe nip down to the McDonald's on the edge of Shed. There's a new McDonald's, which is where I went with Simon when Simon was here, and as Simon knows, it's kind of just down the hill from me. I live just right on the edge of the national park, so although, as you'd have seen from Simon's and Project Nigel vids, if not my own, although I kind of live in the middle of nowhere, it's only a few miles down the hill into Chesterfield, so McDonald's would be easily doable, and I could avoid the crowds, and I could go to the casino for a treat tomorrow night. I might do that and be back in plenty of time for the proper live stream tomorrow, which will be 11, if you still want one after tonight. But I guess there'll be people who weren't about tonight because they're doing family stuff. I can't even stop talking in the 5-minute break, can I? Oh, that's nice. Where are we at? Let's see. A few more comments to work through. Bloody hell, fire, you lot have been busy. Jimmy Quinn is with us. Lovely. Hi Jimmy, Merry Christmas. Where did I get to? Bloody hell. That's about where I got to. Wine time, it is indeed, Simon. Western New York Bigfoot Investigation Group. Good night all, very interesting time here. See you again, I'd say. Brilliant, thank you for popping by. Thank you for subscribing. Hope to see you again for a live stream. And if you would like me to come on one of your lives, just drop me a line. You can't do that on YouTube, can you? Well, you could comment on one of my videos, but if you or anybody else wants to speak to me away from YouTube, it's dead easy. Just search on Facebook. I'm on all of the other social medias as well, but I don't really use them. I'm like a Facebook guy. Search on Facebook for Boaty's World. and you'll find my page and community group, and that's where I kind of hang out as me. And so you can always chat to me there, or you can see who I am, so you can send me a friend request. Or I'm happy to accept friend requests from anybody, by the way, on Facebook. Any of you guys who we know each other from YouTube, please feel free to send me a friend request. Many of you have, which I'm very pleased and happy about, including Mr. B&B. We are Facebook chums now, which is lovely. It's lovely being chums with all of you and getting to know the non-YouTube views. I'm lousy at replying to private messages on Messenger. Sometimes I'll reply immediately, because I know that if I don't reply immediately, I'll forget about it and not reply for a week. So if that happens, don't think I'm being rude or ignoring you. I'm just old and I forget. So yeah, brilliant. Thanks for popping by. Merry Christmas, and have a great... I always used to know all of the time differences. I can't think what time it is for you in New York. But have a great rest of day or tomorrow, or just enjoy yourself. Be happy. And good luck investigating those Western big feet. Is Boaty like a gremlin? Don't give him wine after 2300 hours. Right, yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that one. Boaty, I speak to Allegraman daily. I will PM you when the 45 is for sale. If it's definitely going to be for sale, Gilbert, and thank you. Could you just, in advance of that, could you ping me the full spec so I can work out just how excited I'm going to get about it, and whether I'm going to look at flogging something else in order to buy it. And an idea on price would be useful. Thank you. Shit in hell. Christ, I thought there was somebody breaking in there. I'm just going to have a look at that. Did you hear that? Now, that hasn't happened for a while. If any of you have doubted when I've said that, yeah, my place is haunted and things happen, and what happened just there, there's nobody outside. There wouldn't be any anyway, but I did check, and there's no way that anybody could have run to the door and pushed it or anything, and it's not stupidly windy or anything like that, and the door was shut. What happened just then was that, and also the door is locked from the... I'm going to show you. Come with me. Sorry guys, that's why I shouldn't do that. I took you too far away from the Wi-Fi router, and that's why I just lost Wi-Fi. Let me just plug you back into the power. Right, that's got you back into place. I was trying to show you that the door is shut and it's locked from the inside, right? And what happened just there was, and I was sitting here, you saw that, right? I was sitting here and the door was unlocked from the inside. I'm alone here. I haven't got a woman knocking around, sadly. I'm open to offers though. I was sitting here minding my own business, chatting with you guys, and the door was unlocked and opened. Now, you tell me that this place isn't haunted. And when I went to it, without thinking, I just opened the door to checked that nobody was there, not even thinking about it, and it was unlocked. So I don't. They've behaved themselves for a while. Maybe it's because I'm talking to you guys. Maybe it's because it's Christmas and one of them gets a little bit upset at Christmas on Christmas Day, and they want to cause a bit of mischief. But for whatever reason, one of my housemates, one of my friendly ghosts, who are friendly and who I speak to and who I think of as my friends, decided to unlock the door and open it. And yeah, when I went to it, it was unlocked. And it wasn't. So there you go. These are the kind of things that happen here. But it took me by surprise because it hasn't happened for a while. There must be something to do with it being Christmas night. Obviously, something happened here that's triggered a memory on one Christmas night. When I first came here, I didn't, after a while, I didn't jump at things like that because they just happened all the time. I just thought, oh, right, what now? I went and closed whatever needed to be closed or turned the tap off that had been turned on or whatever. But there you go. How weird was that? Paranormal activity, which I don't even believe in, on a live stream. Actually, that did just happen. Did you hear that? It was loud enough that somebody let me know if you heard it, or am I imagining all of this? Am I going mad? If you heard it, then we've just had some live spooky activity. Maybe only I hear it. I'll watch that bit back. And see if I heard it. Anyway, where did we get to? Oh God. Oh, hello. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm trying to. Oh, that's where I got to, wasn't it? Gilbert kindly said that he'll speak to Allegra Man. Simon hasn't watched any videos today. Need to catch up in the morning. And he also says that he forgot he'd put a video out today looking for trolls. I put one out last night. I put my Christmas poem out last night that should have been a lot better. But I got home from work at earlier than planned, actually, and I had a bit of time. I wasn't planning to do anything last night, but I got home early. I left the restaurant. We were super busy earlier on, and then it just went Christmas Eve, I suppose, people getting ready for the morning. So by about 9 o'clock, the restaurant was pretty much finished. So by 10 o'clock, we thought, well, we'll just bugger off, basically, because it was going to be a long day today. So I was home for about 10:30 instead of the normal, 11:30 or 12. And I just thought, sod it. So I did that on a total whim last night. So some of you enjoyed it, my silly little Christmas poem, but it was all done in a bit of a rush. I wrote it, filmed it, edited it, and did all of the twiddly bits, and added the sound underneath, and I did all of that between. Sorry, you went away. You went again. I think that doesn't happen twice. I think my little friends might be. I think my little friends might possibly be playing with the router or something. That's never happened twice before. So anyway, I'm sorry you're upset, guys, but Um, I'll have a chat with you later. Jimmy Quinn says hi. I said hi and Merry Christmas to Jimmy Quinn. Hooked on Classics, who I tonight learned is called Simone. Was watching Alex's Assets earlier. She's really funny. Don't know anything about that. Never seen it. Should I check it out? Is it a car thing? When we have Chinese takeaway, I always try to have something different. Gin and tonic time for Jimmy Quinn. I used to subscribe there. I think that's referring to Alex's Assets. Somebody tell me, actually, I don't watch many YouTube channels. So if you know a really good YouTube channel that I should watch, shout it, and I'll have a view. Boaty on the wine, absolutely. Dal is the best. It's a daily thing in with the guys that I work with. Oh, an Oprah, Linda Lusardi, 64 now. Good God, is she really? Simon has deployed some scotch. Beards and Bangers wants to know what scotch. Gilbert, always like Linda. She seems very nice. Linda Lusardi, you don't look at... Everybody knows Linda Lusardi because she got her tits out on page 3 of The Sun. You don't look at a pair of tits and think, oh, I bet that's a nice lady. Or maybe you do. Maybe that's how you should do it. Maybe the non-perverts, non-misogynist didn't just judge her by her bristles, but, you know, made the effort to find out whether she was a nice person or not. And jolly fair play to you. Who orders a salad at McDonald's? Well, correct, me, yeah. I like a McDonald's salad. It's only £1. I like a salad with most things. And the thing that makes a salad is a dressing. And I make my own dressing. I make a vinaigrette from really good olive oil, some Gozetan herbs and spices, some white wine, some Dijon mustard, and it's absolutely lovely. And I'll show you a bit of it. Oh, there's not much left, but I make a batch of it, and I put it in these little containers that I think were intended for vinegar, but work jolly well. But to be fair, McDonald's, as I said, they offer a balsamic dressing with their salad, which is jolly nice. And I didn't have a salad when we went to McDonald's, Simon, because you paid, and I didn't want to take the piss and say, yes, I'll have the large meal, and I'll also have a salad, because it was your treat. And then I didn't want to say, I'll also have a salad, but I will pay for that, because that would make out that you were mean and that you wouldn't have been prepared to pay an extra £1 and 9p for a salad. So I thought it was just best to avoid the salad altogether. Next time we go, it will be my turn to pay, and I will have the bloody salad, but you can't. James says to Mr. B&B, I remember you now. You reviewed my mate Dan's Rover 75s. I got the star space on my 75, which were on his lovely Connoisseur SE, before he got those lovely Vortex alloys off you. It all fits in, doesn't it? It's all community. We're building a grand little network of lovely people with things in common. KKC says that Gilbert is very potterable. That's nice. Echoing my point, Mr. B&B says, James Wilson, nice to meet you. This is why I love the MGR YouTube community. Yeah, it's brilliant. Haven't tried Tim Hortons yet. I wish we had Dunkin' Donuts in the Midlands. The railway station near Rover Revival is one of the famous ale trail. There's a railway line near Rover Revival that I've started to research. I will research more thoroughly. And it looks fascinating. There are some splendid viaducts, and that's going to be on my list this spring. Do Elsker Station, Boaty? It's not open and there is nothing there. Well, why would I want to do it then? They've got funding to reopen it now, so within a year or two, it'll be awesome again. Oh, okay. Well, that makes slightly more sense now. Could do it before and after, I suppose. I love going to Nottingham and Nottinghamshire, says James Wilson. Always wondered what it'd be like to follow the A6 down from where I live in Preston, all the way to Derby, then across to Nottingham. Frustrating, probably. Isn't there a Hooters near you, Boaty? Don't think so. I think the nearest Hooters is Nottingham. And it's not somewhere I've ever been. Never went when I was living in the States either. I've never been to a Hooters. Should I go? I've never been down the Peak District area to the M6 just from friends. Oh, James Wilson, you really should come down to the Peak District area. There are some amazing driving roads. You would love it. Jimmy Quinn says, did you have a nice Christmas? If that's aimed at me, Jimmy, then yeah, I got up at the crack of dawn, did an 11-hour shift at the restaurant where we served 130 people with a 7-course Christmas tasting menu. And did 3 outside catering functions as well, and then I came home and did this. So yeah, lovely Christmas. Please do the video as a radio you need. I may have one. I will do. It's the I can't remember the model number, but it's from the Kenwood range that were fitted as OEM to ZTs. It's silver, it's a cassette player that operates a 6-stack CD system, and it has a flip down front. So you flip down the front to put the cassette in. It's quite distinctive. James says, the 45 spec is club, front electric seats, sunroof, better velour, 75 style seats, aircon, front electric windows. Great spec club model, by the way, Beta. That sounds more like a connoisseur. I just remember seeing that car and thinking it was absolutely fabulous. And what a shame it was rotten underneath, because it looked so good up on top. Boaty has a ghost for company. The spirit of mustard is around. Which of you is hiding in Boaty's bushes? I like ghosts that can't harm you. The folk from Eam coming back via Boaty's. It wouldn't be the folk from Eam. Mr. B&B, Rob, this place has got a lot of history, and some really bad things happened here over the centuries. It's many, many centuries old, this cottage. It was originally attached to a monastery, a very isolated monastery on top of the hill. It was somewhere where after that it was used by the major local landowner to basically imprison local girls that he used as sex slaves and slaves of other sorts. And then, as if all of that wasn't enough, in the recent history, in the 1970s, It's where a very famous murder took place, where somebody murdered 3 generations of a family while holding them hostage. So we don't need the guys from Eam. There are enough guys from round here, trust me. Could be druids. You have angered the local phantom. You need to stop using Apple products. They're fine with Apple products. Oh, loved your poem, Boaty. Grand job. Cheers to good tidings. Thank you, Stephen Collishaw. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. They wanted to open the door to let the Christmas spirit in. God knows why, but oh, James. James, I'm really sorry, mate. So sorry to hear that. Oh, right, Gilbert heard it. Somebody says it's the wine, Boaty, or is it? No, it's not the wine. It's these things happen. The door was locked, it was unlocked, and it was opened. You get used to it. I don't mind when I'm up. That's minor mischief. It's when they do it when I'm asleep and I come downstairs and my front door is wide open. That's happened more than once. Not for a long time though. That was when they were being quite malevolent in their mischief. I started talking to them and made my peace, and you know, it's all fine now. We live in harmony. It's not like I haven't got bad habits, is it? Let's see. A rewritten theme of Postman Pat. How did Postman Pat go? Early in the morning, mustard's in the awning. Boaty's farts were just too much to bear. The spirits are messing with your Wi-Fi. Wouldn't put it past them. Alex has a... Oh, right, this is referring to Alex's assets, I think that was what it's called. They have a Rover P4, P6, Allegro, and a lightweight Land Rover. They all would be of interest to me, apart from the lightweight Land Rover. Land Rovers do nothing for me. Oh, Jake's back, Project Ronnie, just jumping on to say hello. Oh, Simon says I should have added the salad. He wouldn't have minded at all. Salad wars. Oh, McDonald's reward gives you free salad. Yeah, I've signed up for that thing, but I'm hardly ever there. But I've signed up for it anyway. Community group hug. That's a nice idea. Oh, Jimmy Quinn says, Boaty, if I take you for a meal, you can have anything you like. I'm having the steak, Jimmy, and thank you very much. I'll have this. Yeah, I'll have the steak with extra this, that, and the other. Ghost is in Boaties, yes. Hooters isn't close to Boaty, says Stephen Collishaw, but it is near to me. Gilbert says, apropos of nothing, I've been told that I have a nice bum. What is the longest A road? Is it the A38? Oh, Mustard has popped in to say, sorry, I can't really be with you tonight. I figured you're on family duty. It's Christmas night, for heaven's sake. This was intended for the rest of us who didn't have the family thing. D-Max says, if I take you out, Boaty, it will be a night to remember, or possibly not to remember. All the best nights of my life, I can't remember. I've been told about them then. You should try Popeyes in Nottingham. Lovely chicken burgers, but the wait time is very long. Oh, and Mustard's hung along long enough to throw in an oak whap. Gina Davis, apparently she's 66. And D-Mac chimes in and says that he would also do Gina. Oh, and Simon says Gina Davis is a good call by the looks of it. I don't know who Jenny Davis is. I'll have to Google her. Jimmy Quinn says, I will have to buy another Rover P5B Coupe, my dream car. If anybody's got one and would let me drive it, I would be very, very grateful. And when I become rich and famous, that's the car I'm going to buy. It won't be the only car I'm going to buy, but it will definitely be a car I buy. The road that when a little chef closes, an adult shop opens. Yeah, what is it with those adult shops in weird places in the middle of nowhere? Bizarre. What are your views on Vauxhall Amiga, Boaty? It's my favourite Vauxhall, especially the 99 to 2004 Amiga, the B2. Well, James, I have owned one. I bought from Arrow Auctions in Redditch an ex-police Amiga 3.2, and it was from their the whatever they call their Hot Pursuit division, and it had been breathed on, and it was a weird car. It was in theory it was a top spec, but it had been de-specced, so it didn't have any of the toys that it should have had. But it had been breathed on and tuned, so it was stunningly quick. And it had the best air conditioning of any car I've ever driven. And I liked it very much. That was I think it was a 51 plate. And blew the head actually, eventually, and then went. But I liked it, and I wouldn't mind trying another one now to see what they're like. Have the ghosts ever stopped you on the job? Nothing stops me on the job. Nothing. James, come on, the Amiga is good, but the Sonita, now that's a classic. Oh, Anna Ford for Opweb. Are you looking to do car reviews, Boaty? Yeah, I am. Yeah, because they get views. Doesn't matter how bad they are, they get views. And there are certain cars, well, in fact, there are many cars that I would like to drive and give an honest opinion on. Yeah, I would like to do some reviews, so if any of you have any sort of car that you would allow me to drive and review, I would love to do it. I mean, there are certain cars that I would just love to drive personally, and at the moment, top of that list is a very early two-wheel drive Lamborghini Diablo. And I would also like to drive a couple of the Ferraris that came after the 355, which is the most recent I've driven. The Diablo I would love to drive just to do a back-to-back with Countach, which I've driven plenty of, but I've never driven a Diablo. I'd love to drive a P5B Coupe, because I have a personal connection with them, and I'd like to drive them in the place I am now because I think I would probably love them even more. I'd love to review a Camargue, a Rolls-Royce Camargue. I have to say that probably the car I felt most at home in, and I've owned loads of them, Shadows, Silver Shadows, 1s and 2s. I always just felt completely at home in them. I'd love to drive an early Bentley Turbo R. Again, I've had one, but I'd like to drive one as the me now rather than the me then. Um, what else? What else? Oh, there's loads of things. I'd love to drive some more mundane things as well. Oh, it's a big long list. I would drive and review anything because I would find no matter what it is, there would be something about it that would interest me. And from a content point of view, reviews do good numbers because they're not niche. A lot of my stuff is really niche. You know, you'd look at it and you think, well, who the fucking hell is this, and what the bloody hell is he barking on about? And unless you've come at me through Mustard and sort of got to know me on Mustard's videos, you probably look at one of my videos and think, what? Fuck that. Um, Whereas if you do a review, you can pick up great views, and if you can inject a bit of personality into it, then that's a great way of getting subscribers and growing your channel. And you know, I'm a little bit interested in that for other reasons now, which is I'm not going to have time to talk about it tonight. But I had a meeting today, an unexpected meeting. I was hunted down. I had a meeting today with the big boss. And we have a strange relationship. He is an exceedingly rich, multi millionaire. And I am this old loser now, I suppose. I'm not really a loser, but we're about the same age. We get on really well, and he immediately, rather than when we came to know each other, rather than looking at who I was or what I did or how much money I had and immediately making a judgment on me, he just listened to things I said and started asking me about history and my business history and so on. And we've become very close friends. And it's a bizarre thing where I'm the only person in the world. He has fingers in many pies. And in some of his businesses, he has like junior partners. But I'm the only person that knows exactly what he's doing, exactly what he's planning, exactly what he's trying to do. Because he trusts me absolutely, and he asks for and invariably takes my advice on anything business related. And he's been hinting and trying for ages and ages and ages to get me more involved with the business. At the moment, I'm not really involved with the business, very much at arm's length. I do some stuff to help out. I do some, I go along and do menial jobs actually in the restaurant to earn a couple of bob. I do some, I do some stuff like, I'll advise him, or I'll do some legal bits for him, or I'll do a bit of marketing or PR. But I've kept it at arm's length because I didn't want to get back involved with the business world. And if I did want to get back involved with the business world, then I've got many people who have offered me opportunities to take over one of their businesses and run it, or to create a new business with and for them. And I've got people who were contemporaries of mine back in the day who know me and know what I did, who've just sort of said, look, anything you want to do, mate, I'll fund it. It's not a problem. These are people that are scattered all over the world now, and kind of aren't doing it anymore. They're going to be the same age as me or probably older. But many people have said, when on the odd occasion we get together, the last time was dear friend's funeral, and they've sort of said, look, whatever you want, and I've not wanted to do it. I've deliberately kept this very low key, very humble life with that I love, and I can't complain, even if part of it does mean living either on the edge of or actually in poverty. And I've kept it at arm's length because I didn't want to. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there. But these guys, these Nepalese guys, they're family to me now. And Bish is like my brother, my absolute brother. And he rocked up today and dragged me out and sat me in the car, and we had a long chat, and things are a little bit different now. I've got this thing going on. There are ways that it could work in, and basically I've sort of indicated that I'll come in, or at least I'll potentially come in a little bit more. He's got certain projects that he wants to get on the go, and he wants me to. So anyway, that looks like. Basically, it means that I don't have to worry too much. It means that I can play about trying to make a difference to people with my singles network and with my charity. I can do this, which I love and which I never want to stop doing. And I've got something else as well, which, if it suits me or if I need it, would be something a bit more proper. So, if it ever came to the shit properly hitting the fan, and, I'm not just too skint to buy a bottle of wine or to put the gas on or something, if it ever came to not having a roof over my head and I had to take a total sensible pill and say, right, you've had your bit of fun arsing about, you need to get yourself back into a proper job and get yourself sorted, it's always going to be there for me. But I don't think it will come to that. And, hopefully I can just do a little bit more than I'm doing now, bring in a few more quid, do good for them, of course. I'm good at what I do when I choose to do it. So it'll be great for them, and it won't be so overpowering that it means that I can't not do any of the other things. So that was what it was all about. I was just, more than anything, I was just really touched that that somebody who, in some ways is up there when I'm down here, would literally chase me down and drag me into a car and try and persuade me. So I was rather touched that, I don't know, it's nice to think that there are a few people out there who kind of remember what I used to be, or see what potential there is, rather than just some washed up old has-been talking nonsense on the interweb. Anyway, that's enough of that. Right, guys, it is midnight coming up. It's 4 minutes to midnight, and I'm going to finish this at midnight because that will be Christmas finished. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. 3 hours we've been going. I can't believe it. It's been fabulous. And Christmas will be done, so we can finish up Christmas night. And if you're up for it, I'll see you again tomorrow night. So let me whiz through the comments and just see. James would love a ZT190. You're welcome to drive mine. See what you think if you've never driven one. Of course, he's got a Boaty. It better be an old husband and never was. Good point. Gosh, we're talking Honda NSX. I've never driven an NSX, and I would like to. My dream classic car, the Rover SD1, ultimate dream classic, an SD1 Vitesse. I would love an SD1 Vitesse. Mr. B&B is saying good night all, and good night to you. MCH_419 is saying good night. KKC says, after 30 years in corporate banking, I started my business 6 years ago. I wish I'd done it 20 years ago. Follow your dreams. You've run successful businesses before. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I'm glad you decided to do that. And yeah, it's a St. Paul on the road to Damascus moment. It was with me. And that's why I've been a little bit scared of getting back into that world. If I knew that I could run it concurrently with this, and if I was confident that I was strong enough as a person not to get sucked in and become the bastard, the selfish, self-centered bastard that I used to be. I wasn't perhaps that bad, but I was a bit. If I knew that I could run them concurrently, then I would have been more open, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, yeah. See you all tomorrow. Same Boaty time, same Boaty channel. Yeah, tomorrow we'll be back to normal time for a Monday Night Live. It'll be 11 o'clock because I'm planning to go to the casino. Guys, thank you for dedicating so much time on a Christmas night to spending it with me. I'm really grateful. It's been fabulous. I hope you've all had a good day. I hope you have an excellent day tomorrow, whatever you're getting up to. Wish you a very Merry Christmas. It's been lovely, our first Christmas together, and it's been lovely doing this. I'm glad I did it, and I really do thank you. And I'm going to end it on the stroke of midnight. So, yeah, get those good nights in because it's 23:59. Yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, and I will see you all tomorrow night. And I am now going to raise my. I'll just show that comment. There we are. Oh, Tracy, just in time for Wordle. Yeah, I'm going to have a Wordle as soon as I close this down. In singles, we do Wordle and Quordle, and it's a little bit competitive. That's it. It's midnight. I'm closing this down. Much love to you all from here, Windy Bum. Thank you so much. Good night. And if you're free, I'll see you tomorrow. And if not, I'll see you next time. Take care, my lovelies, and Merry Christmas.